What would happen if one day all your thoughts suddenly went silent? What if the constant noise in your mind, the voice that keeps you up at night, just disappeared? And in that deep silence, you realized for the very first time that you were never your thoughts to begin with. It might sound like pure imagination, but thousands of years ago, the ancient sages of India described a state of consciousness where the mind becomes completely still. Fear fades away, desires disappear, and all that's left is pure awareness. They called this state Turiya. Today we have more information, more entertainment, and more technology than ever before. Yet somehow, millions of people still feel an emptiness deep inside. Our bodies get exhausted, but our minds never seem to stop. One moment we're worrying about the future. The next we're replaying the past. Then we're chasing success, approval, or trying to prove ourselves. The biggest problem isn't that we have thoughts. The real problem is that we've mistaken ourselves for our thoughts. But thoughts are always changing. Emotions change. Circumstances change. So let me ask you something. If everything is changing, who's the one watching all those changes? That's where the mystery of Turiya begins. According to Hindu philosophy, there are 4 states of consciousness: the waking state, the dreaming state, deep sleep, and the 4th state, Turiya.
Turiya isn't some magical power. It's not a trance, and it's definitely not unconsciousness. It's a state where the mind becomes completely quiet, while awareness stays fully awake. Think about the sky. Clouds come and go. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it rains, sometimes storms roll through. But the sky itself never changes. Your thoughts work the same way. They come and they go. But beneath every thought is an awareness that's always been there. The problem is, the mind is usually so loud that we never notice it. That's why when someone starts meditating and the mind begins to settle down, the ego often gets scared. It feels like its identity is disappearing. Maybe that's why so many people are uncomfortable with silence. We reach for our phones, social media, entertainment, or we simply keep thinking, anything to avoid stillness. But the truth is the exact opposite. The emptiness we've been running from is actually the doorway to real freedom. When someone experiences even the smallest glimpse of Turiya, it feels like a storm that's been raging inside for years finally begins to calm. Thoughts still appear, but they no longer control you. For the first time, you recognize that something inside you has never changed. That's the first glimpse of Turiya. The moment you begin simply watching your thoughts, a profound transformation begins. You realize, I am not my thoughts. And that's where meditation truly begins. The purpose of meditation isn't to force your thoughts to stop. The harder you fight them, the stronger they seem to come back. The real practice is much simpler. Just observe. Sit somewhere quiet. Bring your attention to your breath. Don't try to change it. Just notice the inhale and the exhale. Within moments, your mind will wander. Old memories, future plans, emotions, an endless stream of thoughts. This is where most people quit. But meditation isn't about fighting your mind. It's about watching it without reacting. Little by little, you'll notice that thoughts appear on their own and disappear on their own. Behind every thought, a silent awareness has been there the whole time. This is what many traditions call the witness consciousness. Sometimes, between 2 thoughts, there's a tiny pause, a brief moment of complete silence. That silence, maybe your very first glimpse of Turiya. In that moment, there's no anxiety about tomorrow, no weight from yesterday. Only this moment remains. Modern science is beginning to understand the benefits of meditation. Research suggests that a regular meditation practice can reduce stress, improve emotional balance, and even create positive changes in the brain. But the deepest mystery of consciousness still remains unsolved. The greatest gift of Turiya isn't supernatural power, it's freedom. Freedom from being controlled by your own mind. Little by little, anger begins to loosen its grip. Fear loses its power. Your decisions become clearer. Your relationships become more peaceful. Because now, you're not just observing life, you're observing yourself. But there's one mistake many people make on this journey. They start chasing extraordinary experiences. They want visions, mystical lights, instant enlightenment. But Turiya isn't about collecting spiritual experiences. It's about recognizing the false identity you've believed to be you your entire life. Maybe that's the most beautiful truth of all. The peace you've been searching for was never somewhere out there. It's always been within you. You don't need to become someone new. You simply need to let the noise settle, the very noise that's been keeping you from your true nature. When the mind becomes still, life is finally seen, exactly as it is. And that's when you realize true freedom isn't about controlling the world around you. It's about discovering that place within yourself where fear can't reach, where anxiety can't survive, and where no thought can define who you are. That is Turiya, the state of consciousness, where a human being truly awakens. And maybe the deepest truth of all is this: you don't have to become Turiya, because deep down, you've always been that.